do. All right. I want to show notifications. No, I don't want to see notifications. Very good. Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Rick van Bruggen from Neo4j, and thank you so much for coming. Pizzas are on the way. They should be here in about half an hour. So we've got actually 3 talks today. I'll do the one before the pizzas. After that, you will be so tired, and you will be a gentle audience for the real topics of tonight, which is Ignas and Tom, and that's for after pizzas. I really have to thank Ignas and Tom for pushing me to organize the meetup, because you know, it's something that we used to do a lot more in Brussels, but it's kind of fallen between the cracks a little bit, and sometimes we do and sometimes we don't organize these meetups. But we're trying to do a little bit more of it, not in the least because we now also have Herman on board, and Herman is my new colleague here for the Benelux that is also going to help us develop the community and develop the markets over here. But the other reason was that we actually did a little bit of an interesting experiment. We had a Bertje celebration day. No. We had a graph celebration day on the 15th of April. That's a little joke between us because it's his birthday as well on April 15th. Much more important, it's also the king's birthday. So, your daughter's birthday. I mean, my daughter is 16th of April actually, so yeah. But we actually did something really interesting on 15th of April, which was during the Easter holidays, which we called a Global Graph Celebration Day. Why? Because Leonard Euler, who you may know, it was his 300th birthday, right? So, and it was a little bit of an experiment, but we had over 90 meetups happening across the world on the same day, which was fantastic, right? I mean, thousands of people coming together on the topic of graphs all across the world. And yeah, that was a really nice initiative, and you know, celebrating the 7 bridges of Königsberg, among other things. I'm assuming that most of you that are here are familiar with the 7 bridges of Königsberg. And actually, I actually put it up there earlier. This thing is so we're here at Digitizer. If you're familiar with Digitizer, it's kind of a digital hub for Brussels, right? They're trying to develop all kinds of different digital communities in Brussels, which is a fantastic initiative. And Philippe van Impe is a great inspiration to many people. And they have this beautiful location that you know, that we can use for free, which is fantastic, right? And they have a lot of infrastructure here. They're recording us and all that stuff, so it's fantastic. But you can also ask questions by going to slido.com, and they will appear on there, right? So if you go to slido.com and use the hashtag Neo4j, it will actually appear over there, and I will most likely notice it, and then we can answer those questions. There is also the very old-fashioned possibility of just raising your hand, but you know, maybe that's too old-fashioned for some of us, right? Oops, we're starting the music. He wants me to stop already. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Yeah, yeah. Maybe I should kill my mobile actually. The 7 bridges of Königsberg, and my first question on Slido was, what's the current day name of Königsberg? Wow, half a millisecond, and you already knew. That's impressive. Kaliningrad. How many bridges are left? Ah, there's only 3 bridges left today. They built a highway. Well, they bombarded the shit out of it in World War II, and then they destroyed a bunch of the bridges, but they built a highway through the city, and now there's only 3 of the 7 bridges left. But this is the foundation of graph theory. If you want to read up on that, you should. It's a fantastic topic. And it's been such an amazing evolution, right? This Graph Celebration Day has been a great celebration, really, because, I mean, Ignas and Tom, you guys have been part of the graph community for a very long time. You know, the other people here as well, right? So it's been crazy how well this has been received in the industry. This is a screenshot of DB Engines, you know, which is a site that kind of tracks trends in databases, right? And how you know, graph databases have really been, you know, the exploding platform in terms of data. If you compare it to other technologies. It's not, you know, it's not commonplace. I wouldn't really say that. You know, we're 20 people here, so it's not like everyone is using it yet, but it's really growing very quickly, and that's super interesting. So what are we going to do tonight? We've got 3 talks and pizza. So I'll open up, and I'm going to try and illustrate a couple of things around graph algorithms, right? And it's a very interesting topic, and we see a lot of interest in it. You know, once you structure your data as a graph, right? Once you store it as a graph in a graph database, there's fascinating things that you can do with that data by running graph algorithms on it. Right? So I'll talk a little bit about that, and hopefully also show you a couple of things that might be interesting for you. And then we've got pizza coming. It's going to be a little bit later. It's going to be at 7:15. And then Tom and Ignas are actually going to talk about real-world implementations on how you can use graph technology, graph algorithms in specific problem domains, right? Deduplication of data with graph algorithms, and building knowledge graphs using graph algorithms. So we actually have a really interesting agenda. I'm imagining that we won't finish by 8:30, it might be 9 o'clock, but you know, there's always an opportunity to ask questions and to take that forward afterwards. All right, so I'm going to dive in, if that's okay, right? So we'll go and talk a little bit about graph algorithms in Neo4j. You know, this is kind of interesting, right? I mean, I started working with graphs about 7 years ago. I wrote these little books about it, I blogged about it, but it was always about structuring the data, about, you know, how do I get the data into the graph, and how do I start using it, how do I query it, how do I do things with it. I dabbled a little bit with algorithms, but to be honest, it's never been the heart of my work with graphs in reality. But there's been so much interest in it. You know, we always talk about things like pattern recognition, right? And matching patterns in the graph database. All right, well, what pattern are we talking about then, right? That would always have to start with some kind of knowledge, some kind of domain expertise that would tell you, you know, this is the pattern that we're going to be looking for, right? So you have to understand it first. Something can tell you and give you that understanding if necessary, but in reality, most of the time, it's going to be a domain expert. It's going to be a business user. It's going to be someone who's been, you know, been working in insurance for 20 years, or is a health